The U.S. official telling Barbara Starr that this attack had been ordered to go forward, but then was pulled back at the last second. Now, again, that's relatively easy to do, given that the U.S. has a substantial military presence already in the region, a number of strike aircraft, a number of ships that are capable of launching missile attacks against these proposed targets, which we're being told were Iranian radar sites and missile batteries, likely the same types of facilities that were used to target and shoot down that U.S. RQ-4 drone, which has kind of sparked this latest increase in tensions. Unclear exactly what caused the president to pull back the operation relatively late in the game. We'll be looking into that, but we've heard nothing officially from the Pentagon about any of this, not saying anything at all about what exactly happened last night officially, but we're looking into what possibly could have caused the president to cancel this operation so late in the game.
Well, meanwhile, a junior minister is facing calls to resign after he was seen grabbing a demonstrator by the neck during a speech by Britain's finance minister. A group of all-female Greenpeace activists used loudspeakers to disrupt Philip Hammond's annual Mansion House speech in London. The protesters were calling for action on climate change. Well, for more on all of this, let's talk now to Tig Enright, who joins us from Westminster. Tig, good to see you there. What more do we know about this alleged assault?
Well, really alarming video circulating this morning, shocking many people that watched it. Mark Fields himself has apologised. He said that he felt under threat, that he acted instinctively. He thought that the protester could have been armed. But I think many people would agree that the actions, or the scale of the action, was somewhat overblown. The video showing him grabbing her by the neck, pushing her against the wall, and then frog marching her out of the event. And, you know, it's clear to see from the video that the woman was simply walking behind him, although I suppose in his defence, he couldn't see exactly what she was doing.
Well, protesters are flooding the streets of Hong Kong in another round of demonstrations, that after leader Carrie Lam ignored a deadline to withdraw a controversial extradition bill. Activists are demanding that Carrie Lam scrap that proposed bill by Thursday, but those calls were ignored. They want Lam to resign and release a number of government protesters detained last week. Thousands have converged on Hong Kong's police headquarters and are now blocking major roadways. Let's get the very latest from Hong Kong now with DW's Matthias Berlinger. Matthias, what's happening where you are at police headquarters right now?
People here demand the release of these people who were detained during the clashes last week. They keep shouting, release them, release them. People are still angry with the government, although Carrie Lam has already shelved this bill. They demand it to be entirely scrapped, and they also demand her to step down. All of these demands have not been met, so people vow to continue to protest.
When a US drone was shot down over the Hormuz Strait on Thursday, the nearest civil aircraft was tracked within 45 nautical miles, with numerous commercial flights in the area at the time. The incident sparked the FAA to ban US carriers from flying over the area, describing an inadvertent risk to US civil aviation operations and potential for miscalculation or misidentification. The US ban doesn't apply to airlines from other countries, but many, like BA and Lufthansa, have since announced they're avoiding the zone. This expert says airlines are right to be extremely cautious.
The slightly macabre coincidence here is that the day after the release of the report on MH17, which was in some ways a warning as to what can occur in conflict zones, the Iranians used almost the same type of missile battery that was involved in the shooting down of MH17 to shoot down a military aircraft.
Let's get going. There are still no arrests related to the murders of 5 homeless men in Pretoria tonight. Police are now studying CCTV footage in the hope of making a breakthrough.
Police are looking far and wide, Shahan, for answers, but most importantly, they're looking up to find some of these answers. They are consulting CCTV footage, just analyzing them and seeing if they're able to maybe identify a culprit or culprits in this instant. But I think it's very important to note that police are also keeping their cards very close to their chest. They are not revealing any more information since the high-level task team hit the ground yesterday. All they're telling us is that they're going to be studying available CCTV information and hoping to make a breakthrough.
Chinese President Xi Jinping wrapped up his 2-day state visit to North Korea today. Though short, it definitely had a strong impact amid stalled nuclear negotiations between Pyongyang and Washington, as well as the ongoing U.S.-China trade war. For more on how the second and final day of Xi's visit to Pyongyang went, let's connect to our Oh Jung-hee, who is joining us on the line from Seoul's Unification Ministry. Jung-hee, good to have you with us. So it seems the duo together visited the Friendship Tower in the regime's capital?
That's right, Daniel. North Korea's Korean Central Television and China's state-run Xinhua News Agency reported that Chinese President Xi Jinping and his wife Peng Li-wen visited the North Korea-China Friendship Tower with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and his wife Lee Seol-ju. Some key aides from Pyongyang and Beijing accompanied their leaders as well. This North Korea-China Friendship Tower was built in 1959 to commemorate Chinese soldiers who died fighting in the Korean War. Visiting the site, Kim and Xi both highlighted that they'll strengthen the two countries' friendship to further develop socialism. She especially stressed on the need to push for peace and security in the region.
Victoria's dairy industry fears it will take a hit, with confused customers now pouring safe milk down the sink. E. coli is at the centre of the fresh recall, but producer Lactalis Australia is refusing to detail exactly what went wrong. Stephanie Anderson with today's developments.
Packed back into a crate due to fear of contamination, supermarket milk again on the nose.
Last week was pretty bad news, and this week's news is catastrophic.
For the second time in a week, retailers have been forced to pull product from shelves, this time due to fears of E. coli contamination in Lactalis Australia product from its Rowville plant.
The company's identified an issue at the processing plant which they've addressed and acted immediately to recall the product.
2-litre bottles of 7-Eleven Light, Gippy Full Cream and Light varieties, Maxi Foods Light, Paul's Professional Cafe Crema and Smarter White Milk are affected, along with 1- and 2-litre bottles of Rev Low Fat. Coles Full Cream 2-litre bottles purchased at Coles Express are also being recalled.
Breaking news into us here at CNN. A judge has just ruled in the battle over Missouri's only abortion clinic. CNN's Ryan Young joining us now live from St. Louis with more on the breaking news. So, Ryan, what did we learn? What did the judge say?
Well, first things first, I'm holding this phone to my head just because my earpiece is not functioning. But wanting to tell you this, there's a news conference that's going to be held just in the next few minutes from the Planned Parenthood folks. As of right now, things will continue with the injunction that had been put in place earlier. So basically the state has denied the Planned Parenthood license moving forward. But because of the injunction that's been put in place, the court is basically saying everything is status quo until the next decision. So we'll learn more about that. But look, there's been a lot of conversation in this state with just one abortion clinic that is still open. What we do know is right now they're still servicing women at that clinic. This clinic has moved forward with deciding not to do the second pelvic exam, which a lot of people have been talking about.